Maybe it's the eye rolls. Maybe it's the rapid clicks of the next button. Regardless of what the action is, we know the look and feel of learner disengagement, even if we don't hear a word. If we know that we don't want our end users to feel this way, then why is it such a common occurrence in many organizations? Welcome to the Silent Learner, unlocking answers to learner engagement. Now, I don't know about you, but I really don't have all the answers. In fact, I'm not really even a detective, so I've called in some help. Let's give it up for Detective Knowles. Oh gosh, this is kind of embarrassing. So my original presentation, he didn't show up. He's not showing up today either. So I'm really sorry about that, but he did leave us a mystery. So his sidekick, Scotty here, says that there are some clues that will let us know why people become disengaged when it comes to training. And so I love doing this activity as a kickoff for something about learner engagement, because what is more boring than hearing somebody talk about themselves for 5 minutes or talk about the objectives of the particular session. I didn't want to do that, so I built this. This is something you can build too in your next maybe presentation or even interaction. It's really easy to do. So these are a bunch of vectors, just so you know, and the ones that are clues, I actually have them linked to different slides in the presentation. So if I click on this, it goes to basically jumps to a different slide in the presentation, then I click this and it goes back, and etc. So for the purpose of this, I know obviously this isn't live, but I just wanted to show you all what I did at Learnapoolza. But if you're curious what the clues are, I'll give them in order. So the first one is this lovely moon right here, and the moon denotes sleeping. So the person is asleep because they took too many bullet bill. One, because I love video games. Two, it's the 35th anniversary, if you can believe it, of Super Mario Brothers. So I'd like to give a little nod to that. And they are asleep because they took too many bullets from power, point. So can't see the eye rolls through the screen, but at least you can get the gist. So the red herring obviously was camels that I love, and also Nick Jonas that I love too. All right, so let's go ahead and hop back into it. Just wanted to kind of deconstruct that activity in case that's something you'd also like to do in a future presentation. So I know that many people probably agree with what Detective Knowles and Scotty say about why people are disengaged, but what else causes disengagement? Well, the good news is if you don't hear directly from the people in your organization, don't worry, because they will tell social media exactly what they think of your learning experience. I recently asked on LinkedIn about what ruins a learning experience for you, and here are some of the answers that I kind of pulled together. This is not an exhaustive list by any stretch of the imagination, and you know, I don't know about you all. I love this profession, but I know that there are times that even I wait till the last minute to go to a training if I know it's going to be dry or boring. So if we know it, we know that they're also suffering. Why do we continue to do this to our people? I don't know either. So let's talk a little bit about learner engagement. So if you were to go to Google and you type in learner engagement, you're going to find a ton of different answers. So instead of defining what learner engagement is, I prefer to look at the constructs of it, meaning how can we operationalize it? So according to Shea, Hattie, and Green, it can be operationalized by behavioral, cognitive, or emotional. So we're going to dive into each three of these, talk a little bit about what they look like, and even dive into maybe some tools you might want to consider if you're going to think about enhancing this in your next learning experience. When creating a learning experience, behavioral engagement should be a priority when the content is something that's new or you need someone to have a foundational knowledge of it. And remember, when it comes to behavioral engagement, this is something that you can actually observe. So are they asking questions in the chat? Did they give you feedback on the evaluation survey? Are they opening the resources that you give them? People learn best when they are actively engaged and therefore can deeply encode material. So give them opportunities to practice with materials, and especially if they're based in the organization you support and they support the job that that person is doing, even better. I've included some various tools here that you may want to look at if you want to try something new to try to enhance behavioral engagement in your next learning experience. If you're not familiar with the little icons there, I'll go left to right. So we have Arist, Microsoft Teams, Padlet, Miro, Umu, Klaxoon, MailChimp, and Mural. So I recommend checking out all those tools and seeing if it's something that you'd like to play with. When it comes to cognitive engagement, remember that interactivity is in the mind and not in the mouse. So even if we talk about, let's say, putting something on a phone or tablet, you're actually just substituting your finger for that particular mouse. And again, same deal. That is not necessarily engagement. They're actually doing something. Think about it this way. Engagement is a state of mind. So asking a well-phrased question with a supporting image that allows a learner to think deeply, it can be just as effective as a video or an infographic. And when people stop paying attention and disengage with your course, they are unable to continue to construct their own knowledge. So they're not able to take in what you're giving them and put it in the schema of maybe that prior knowledge that they already have. And you also notice on this slide that I don't have any learning technologies listed on here. And the reason is the heart of this starts with the content that you create. Are you giving someone a well thought out learning experience, or are you giving them a fire hose of content? As learning and development professionals, we have a responsibility to the people that we serve. Don't bore them. Don't talk down to them. You really should fight for them. And you can do that by really drilling down when you're creating the learning experience to see if your learning experience takes cognitive engagement seriously. Emotional engagement is a construct that I don't think gets enough love and attention. If people are preoccupied, worried about something, or dealing with various things like a bad experience at work that day, you're not going to be able to win over the battle for their mind that day, period. Even if someone has a clear mind, it's very easy to emotionally disengage with a learning experience. And one way is by not paying attention to our language. It's a big deal that we acknowledge that everyone should feel safe at work and also accepted. And so one of my go-to tools that I recently found is alex.js, which you can actually copy and paste your content in, and it will let you know if there's a better way to deliver your content to be more inclusive. Additionally, if you're doing a leadership training, not all the pictures should be of a male in a tie. Consider bringing elements of today's world into your learning experience. And one of my favorite places to get some of those assets are Unsplash. But I'm sure that there are others. So if you have others that you'd like to recommend, feel free to comment on this video or share them on social media. I think we can all learn together. So to recap, here are again the constructs of learner engagement. So next time you think about building, or if it's time to review that annual compliance course, whatever, just take a moment to think about it. So in behavioral, what are they doing? Cognitively, how are they being challenged? And emotionally, how does this make them feel? Thanks so much for listening. I'd love to know what you think of learner engagement. Is this something that you talk about or think about in your day to day? Sound off below and let me know. And if you have any ideas of future videos or anything you'd like to see me talk about, also let me know on that. So thanks so much, and until next time.